Father Gurmila Mahagas as Tachtar and Glornov, can you tell us why you will be asking people to vote no in this referendum?
Well, Mila Buikas Osendesh Erdus. Listen, the Constitution is our fundamental legal document in this country. It contains the core rights of citizens, and it also contains the responsibilities of the government. It's not the location for definition-free phrases such as durable relationships. So we would have loved to have seen the text updated to recognise families in the modern era. But this particular phrase is so poorly written that nobody understands what it means. And even the polls show at the moment that the majority of people do not understand what the word durable relationships means. And by putting something that we don't understand into the Constitution, it can have an enormous effect over issues such as succession, taxation, social welfare, migration and family law. We've even had the bizarre situation where a government minister says that you can be in a marriage that's undissolved and be in a marriage equivalent durable relationship at the same time. It is a recipe for confusion, and as a result, we're asking people to vote no.
Roderick O'Connor, the Minister there, has said that he describes a durable relationship as a relationship of strength, of stability and of commitment. And he said it is the type of relationship of people we know, like one-parent families, cohabiting couples who are together unmarried, whether they have children or not. So is your issue with this, and also with the issue, as he says, about succession, which also the government say can be dealt with under legislation that is already in or passed by the Oireachtas?
Yeah, well, I suppose the first thing is that all legislation is subservient to the Constitution. So if legislation is written by the government that doesn't agree with the principles of the Constitution, it is unconstitutional and can be struck out. So first of all, it's the Constitution that's more important. Second of all, in normal legislation, what we have is what's called pre-legislative scrutiny. And that allows for TDs to ask, ministers and heads of department what exactly legislation means. But Roderick O'Gorman didn't allow pre-legislative scrutiny on this particular bill. And actually, when the bill went through the Dáil, he cut the speaking time on it so that there wasn't a proper debate around it. And when people tried to put forward amendments with actual definitions of what it means, he wouldn't allow them. And actually, Michael McDowell put in a question to the Minister in FOI to ask what advice he'd got from different departments and what exactly durable relationships meant, and he refused to answer those questions. We don't know if a durable relationship starts in 3 months, is it 6 months, is it 2 years, is it 5 years? Yeah. When does a durable relationship start? And if you don't know when it starts, how do you know when you have the tax advantages that go along with a durable relationship? How do you know, for example, if a person is in a marriage and a durable relationship at the same time with two different people, where does succession law come? Is the will revoked by a durable relationship or a marriage? And when we ask those questions, the ministers simply can't ask them. They say you'll have to go to court to find out, and most people don't have the money to go to the High Courts just to find out what their rights are.
Heather, are you asking people to say no, and if it's a no, then to come back and to look at the wording of this again? Or are you asking people to say no and not change anything?
Well, we're asking people, or the government, first of all, to really just give a proper definition in terms of this before the referendum. And if we can let people know what it means, well, then we'll be able to make a better decision of what it's about. But I do believe there's a disconnect between the government on these issues, because the government are saying that, they want to be able to help families in these situations. But there's no impediment currently for the government to invest in families, to help them with the supports that they need to be able to raise their families and look after their families better. I would like for legislation to be passed to recognise cohabitation couples, to recognise families led by a single parent. It's really strange, actually. We don't know, does durable relationship actually cover single parent families? Because the only definition of durable relationships that have actually gone through the courts has meant a relationship that is an intimate relationship or a sexual relationship, and that obviously excludes single-parent families.
So what they're saying, really, what you're saying is the government haven't clarified what a durable relationship is, and therefore we should vote no for that. That is what you are saying. Even though the Taoiseach has said as well that the reason they're obviously changing the wording, and do you agree with this, is that the wording we have now on the family that is based on marriage is archaic where we are today in society.
Yeah, I agree that the language doesn't represent the structures that exist in society. I would have liked to have seen, single-parent families and cohabitation families being recognised by the Constitution.
But are they not already recognised through the laws made by the Oireachtas? Are they not already recognised cohabitating families if they are in a relationship for 5 years without children? They have rights with if they are cohabiting people and they have children after 2 years, they have rights?
No, you're absolutely correct. And actually, that law that exists currently about families of cohabiting parents, that gives a definition. We know exactly when rights kick in and when rights don't. But that's what's missing from this terminology in the durable relationship issue. And it can have serious consequences. For example, Neil Richmond, a government minister, stated that durable relationships will have a significant effect in terms of immigration in future. Now, I believe that we do have responsibilities when it comes to people fleeing from war and from violence, but by broadening the definition of family, it will broaden the number of people who can seek repatriation in future in terms of migration. And, we are under pressure with 1,000 people living in tents currently in the streets at the moment.
We certainly are. So that's